In early 1942, Auschwitz, unlike Chelmno and the Lodz ghetto, was only playing a minor part in the Nazis' final solution. Since September 1941, Hearst and his colleagues had been experimenting with the use of Zyklon B, prussic acid, to kill Soviet prisoners of war and the sick in the crematorium of the camp just yards from his office. Next to the ovens of the crematorium was the mortuary. The SS used it as an improvised gas chamber. A small number of Jews from the local area selected as unfit to work had also been killed here, beginning in the autumn of 1941. But it was soon clear to Hearst and his SS colleagues that this was not an ideal location to commit mass murder, as Polish political prisoner Józef Paczynski witnessed.
I went into the attic of that building. I stood on a crate or something. I lifted a roof tile, and I could see everything that was going on, right there in front of me. And they were very polite with those people, very polite. Undress, pack your things here, this here, that there. And then an SS man climbed onto the flat roof of the building. He put on a gas mask, opened a hatch, and dropped the powder in. When he did this, in spite of the fact that these walls were very thick,
people were dying from starvation.
Scream from within, despite the thick walls. This took place at lunchtime, in the daytime. In order to stifle the screaming, they had two motorcycles standing on the pavement near the crematorium. Engines revved up as far as they could go to stifle the scream. To cover up the yelling, they had these engines going, but they failed. They gave it a try, but it didn't work. The screaming lasted for 15 or 20 minutes. It became weaker and weaker, then went quiet.
These horrors were only the beginning. During the spring of 1942, Jews from outside Poland were deported to Auschwitz for the very first time. They came from one of the Nazis' closest allies. And the story of how these Jews came to be on trains to Auschwitz is one of the most shocking and surprising in the history of the Nazis' war against the Jews. The people on these trains were from Slovakia, many from the capital, Bratislava. Slovakia was a new country. Created only in 1939, the majority of the Slovaks were now fiercely nationalistic.
Slováci jsme od rodu, slovenskému národu, nebude z nás ani jeden nikdy na škodu. Svoju zem si ľúbime, nepriateľov zlúbime. Zobudte sa všetci bratia v celej krajine. Reč a chlieb si chránime, nikomu sa nedáme, na Slovensku po slovensky smelo hlásame. Reč a chlieb si chránime, nikomu sa nedáme, na Slovensku po slovensky smelo hlásame. Bor sa všetci za nami.
The president, Józef Tiso, was a Catholic priest, and the prime minister, Wojciech Tuka, was also deeply religious. They had implemented a series of anti-Semitic measures chiefly born of religious and cultural intolerance. And at the forefront of tormenting the Jewish population were the nationalist Flinka Guard.
A Jew would never go to work. None of them work. They only wanted to have an easy life. Our people were happy to receive their stores. We called it Aryanizing them. And that's how they became rich.
Before the war, Slovakia had a thriving Jewish community of around 90,000. Now, they were under direct threat. When the Nazis asked for forced laborers, the Slovakian authorities offered up 20,000 Jews and their families. But early in 1942, conflict arose between the Germans and the Slovaks. The Nazis, lacking the necessary extermination capacity, at first didn't want to accept anyone who couldn't work. In early 1942, a meeting was arranged at the Foreign Ministry in Bratislava to try and resolve the dispute. SS Captain Dieter Witzitzleni arrived to meet with Prime Minister Tuka and a Slovakian official, Dr. Kosso. After the war, both Witzitzleni and Kosso gave evidence of what was discussed here.
Herr Dr. Kosso hat mit Ihnen unseren Vorschlag besprochen.
Das Angebot der 20.000 jüdischen Arbeiter.
Die slowakische Regierung mischt jüdische Arbeiter zusammen mit ihren Familien und Siedlungen. Wir sehen eine Trennung der Familien als unchristlich.
Könnte es sein, Herr Ministerpräsident, dass hier neben dem christlichen Mitgefühl auch materielle Beweggründe eine Rolle spielen? Wir bekommen die Arbeitskräfte und Sie müssen sich dann um den Unterhalt der Familien kümmern. Aber soweit ich es beurteilen kann, fehlen uns die Unterbringungsmöglichkeiten für arbeitsunfähige Juden. Es würden uns hier Kosten entstehen, die durch keine zu erwartende Arbeitsleistung gedeckt wären.
Was Kosten betrifft, dann können wir bestimmt zu einer Einigung kommen.
Heißt das, dass Sie die Kosten tragen würden?
Das müssen wir sehen. Reden Sie erst einmal mit Obersturmbannführer Eichmann.
Back in Berlin, a deal was brokered. As this document proves, the Slovakian Foreign Ministry agreed to pay the Nazis 500 Reichmark for each Jew deported. The Slovaks thus offered to pay the Nazis to take their Jews away. For most of the Slovakian Jews, their journey began with imprisonment at a holding camp like this one outside Bratislava. Once in these camps, the Slovakian Jews were under the total control of the Flinka Guards.
Some of those soldiers were really stupid. For example, they deliberately crapped there, so we had to clean up that with our hands. They called us Jewish whores, they kicked us, they behaved really badly. They also told us, we will teach you Jews how to work. But poor women were used to work.
Later, when the Jews were coming to the camps, we used to take their belongings and clothes. The deputy commander came and said to us to go and choose from the clothes. I took some clothes. Others did as well. Then I took 3 pairs of shoes. Everyone took what he could. I wrapped it all with a rope and brought it back home.